Assalamu alaikum. This is Rubina Shajil from UMT Alumni Office, and we have with us a shining UMT alumnus, Mr. Shahjahan Zeb. Shah serves as the president of Mobility's Advanced Technology Group and leads business development, strategy, and operations for telecommunication, infrastructure, and professional services. He is highly accomplished technology executive with broad domestic and international experience in the telecommunication and high-tech industries. Shah holds an MBA from Johnson's Business School at Cornell University and MSc in Telecommunications from University of London. He advises clients in high-tech industries, for example, wireless, automotive, enterprise, industrial IoT, on the impact of new technologies such as IoT 5G and edge computing on their strategy and business models. Shah is working with various clients to resolve their wireless connectivity challenges and help them prepare for the future. UMT Alumni Office welcome you for this session.
Thank you so much. I'm very good. Thank you for such a wonderful introduction. So very happy to be here.
From Ericsson UK to President of Mobility's Advanced Technology Group, California, please share your journey with us.
Absolutely. I would love to. So I will begin with when I left, so I'm from UMT batch 17th. I graduated in 2004 and 5 session, if I remember correctly. So after completing my undergrad from UMT, I went to England and I finished my master's in telecommunication. So while I was doing my master's, I got into Ericsson's global graduate program. It was such a wonderful, wonderful program that I got the opportunity to work in several different functions, not only at Ericsson UK, but also across different functions or different locations across Europe. So I was, for a long period of time, I was in Sweden, Ireland, and Germany and other parts of the Europe. So I was blessed that I was part of the team which was transforming, and it was the right time when LTE or the 4G was kind of coming up. So I was part of that team. We got the opportunity to learn lots of new stuff, the way Ericsson was doing the telecommunication business. So that's where I started from. And then in 2010, Ericsson US extended me an invite that they were starting a new group here in the US. So they moved me and my family from London to Los Angeles, California. So since 2010, I am here in Orange County in Los Angeles. And when I came here, I was leading Verizon account for Ericsson. Primarily, I was working as a service delivery executive for Verizon account here in Los Angeles. And then back in 2015, I got the wonderful, wonderful opportunity to leave Ericsson and join a company where I'm currently the president of technology group. So I've been here from last 5 years, and I am, as you already mentioned, Rubina. So I'm leading their business development and technology evolution and technical strategy. So that's what my role is, and in addition to several other things I do. So it has been a wonderful, wonderful journey, and I think UMT has played a tremendous role in my success, if I say that.
How it was challenging to lead ATG?
You know, it's always challenging to do whatever you want to do. So when I came here in mobility in my current role, of course, you always play with your strengths, right? So I think my strength was I came from a very strong technical background when it came to telecommunication. So thanks to my 10 years at Ericsson, and that gave me tremendous opportunity to learn all the 4G stuff, and at the same time, how companies do business. So when I came here at Mobility in my current role, it was, I won't say it was easy, but I knew what I was doing. And then I got the opportunity to learn from the people, right? So the mentors and my peers and my immediate boss, everybody was so supportive, and they were fantastic people, very accomplished in their own industry. So it came as a very easy transition for me. I learned so much from my superiors and from my boss and from my peers. So it wasn't difficult at all, but at the same time, it is challenging to lead anything what you do, because I think you have to continuously transform yourself. You have to find new ways to innovate, and you have to find new ways to stay ahead of competition. So I think it was challenging from that angle, that I have to establish a new group for our company and start a new line of business. So it was fascinating experience in so many different ways, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm still loving everything about it. So
How advanced technologies impact the telecom industry?
yeah, so what we do, I will just give you a brief intro of what my company does. And we are one of the largest privately held wireless company in the US, in multi-billion dollars revenue, very, very successful. We have offices all over the US and several thousand employees. And what we do, our core business is we build telecom infrastructure, which is basically, if you look into these tall 200 feet and all, like the big giant macro towers, starting from those all the way to indoor small cells and indoor in-building networks for highly congested and densely populated areas. So that's our core businesses. And the way what we do, so we work with all the telecom companies. So if you want to take example of what Pakistan is, for instance, right? Like you have companies like Ufone, Jazz and stuff, and Mobilink and all those companies. So I think we have similar to those are AT&T and Verizon. So we build these telecom infrastructure for them. And we build, at this moment, we're building state-of-the-art 4G and 5G networks for them. So we build and we provide advanced consultation to them, and then they use our networks basically to provide a service to their customers. So we basically are helping telecom companies here, and with our solutions and our assets.
Your major clients are Fortune 500, Verizon Wireless, Telefonica, British Telecom, and Vodafone. What major solutions you provided to these companies?
Yeah, so what we do, again, I work for Vodafone and Telefonica when I was in Europe, but here primarily I deal with companies like Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, and now Dish as well. So I think what we do, we build, as mentioned, wireless infrastructure for them, which includes like indoor, we call them like distributed antenna systems, Wi-Fi networks, and small cells, basically for everything which of course you need for 4G and 5G. So we build all those physical infrastructure and for all these companies.
What is the Connected City project? Please share the basic concept behind it.
Yeah, so I think like now everything is moving on your smartphones these days, right? I mean, as you probably know. So when we started, I consider myself very fortunate that my career trajectory aligns perfectly with LTE. So when I started working in telecom industry at that time, we were using all those small, like I don't know if you remember those or not, those Sony Ericsson phones, where you were unable to watch anything on your phone, right? It was just primarily used for texting or making phone calls. But I mean, at that time, there were a concept that the day will come when you will have everything connected to the internet, and you will be able to control traffic lights, street cameras, and your for example garbage services, and all the municipalities kind of infrastructure as well. So I think this is exactly what that is, which I studied like 10 years ago, that you are connecting everything in the cities with the help of advanced sensors and with the help of a telecom infrastructure, that you enable a autonomous operation, that if you are on your phone, you will be able to find for example, you will be able to connect with your existing system and infrastructure. Like biggest example right now, which we are experiencing here in the US, is evolution of connected cars. So I think there's a big push that you build this infrastructure that you can make these decisions in real time. And like if you are getting closer to the traffic lights, they open themselves and they turn green, or when your garbage cans reach certain level, and there is a sensor which kind of triggers the movement, so somebody can come and pick it up. So all these kind of smart decisions where you are removing that manual human interaction.
Digital technology is reshaping industry ecosystem. For sustainability, companies need to be open and flexible. How you see this transformation in Pakistan's perspective?
Yeah, I think here, even in the US and the Europe, I mean, it has taken a long time for businesses to fully adopt this digital transformation. And I would consider we still are not there yet, even in the US. Companies are now, I mean, it was such a big eye opener for all these companies in this current COVID pandemic, that most of the businesses were not even fully automated in terms of like their operation online and all kind of stuff. So I think Pakistan, I think to answer your question, firstly, I have been following the news and stuff, so I'm sure there are tremendous policies in place. People are trying to transform that sector, but I think Pakistan needs that digital transformation, right? I mean, most of the things we do in Pakistan, they're still manual, but I think with the latest initiative by the governments, so things are getting better, right? So I think it is basically helping people with their daily operation, making a transaction in the banks, to making phone calls, or to making reservation in the restaurant. Everything is kind of here in the US is digital, and I see the same thing in Pakistan too. So I think Pakistan does need a huge transformation, and ideally suited with so many people in there.
What are the major benefits to shift from 4G to 5G technology, and what could be the potential threats associated with this transformation?
If you look back, it's 7-8 years ago or 10 years ago when we launched LTE very first time in the US, and that was eye opener for many people because consumers' behavior changed significantly. Previously, phone was primarily used for making phone calls or sending text message, but when 4G was launched, everybody was using, because we had a faster speed, so everybody was using YouTube and more video streaming, and then Facebook Live and TikTok and all kind of stuff, right? So a faster internet connectivity brought all these new use cases into play. And now with 5G, your speeds are going to be 100 times more. So if you were downloading a movie on 4G before, let's say in 10 seconds, now you will be able to do the same stuff in 2 seconds or 1 second for that matter. So it is significantly faster. There's a lower latency. So it's easier and faster for you to send information and get the response back. And it is more reliable and bandwidth. So it will enable many new industries, such as they mentioned earlier, like autonomous cars, real-time robotics.
What could be the potential threats?
I don't consider this a threat in any particular way. I think whenever the new technology comes with this, it brings new opportunities. And I think there's a misconception going on in the industry, maybe that coronavirus is linked to 5G. So I think that's absolutely nonsense. But at the same time, in terms of pure technology sector, I think there's a huge potential benefit. It is going to bring lots of value to the global economy, and I think the US in particular, and of course Pakistan will benefit. I'm 100% sure.
Share an experience in which your ability to consider the cost or benefits of a potential action help you to choose the most appropriate action.
Wow, that's such a difficult question. I don't know how to answer this, but would you elaborate, like in which context you want me to give you an example? I can. All right, let me try with the personal, and if this doesn't answer your question, then I will try different ways. So I think a cost and benefit analysis, I think you have to see, I think one of the decisions I made personally when I left UMT, I could have, started a career in Pakistan, and but I started to invest into my education, of course. Then I continued thriving through that, and then I came to the US, and then I did my MBA, and that was a huge financial investment as well as like a commitment of time as well, because I was doing while I was working. So it was, I had to work for like 2 years part-time, of course, when I was doing MBA. So it was a huge commitment, both financially as well, but that played a tremendous impact on my career. So I think that's what I think. Does it answer your question?
What is your outlook for the coming year after going through COVID-19 pandemic?
Yeah, many brilliant people are trying to figure this out. I mean, I wish I had a silver bullet to give you an answer, but I think what I see, previously we were all using all these, the video conferencing tools and all these technologies. But now with COVID, more and more people are open to using Zoom for meetings and stuff. Previously, we had to fly and meet our clients and come back within a day. So I think now more and more people are trying to use the tools which already existed before. And secondly, I see that happening more and going forward. And one thing also, I think from going to office space, that potentially will change. What I believe these offices or schools and all, they will become more like a place to meet and not to work. So like we will go to office to do certain things and come back and work from home. So and I think that will change as well, I guess, and more people will be open to having a people working for them in remote locations. So I think huge potential for countries like Pakistan, India, and all those who with such a big population who speak very good English and very strong in IT. So there are tremendous opportunities for all these people living in all these countries for remote opportunities.
What time in your life did you feel the most proud?
Now talking to you, I think this is such a proud moment for me. I mean, you reached out to me for interview for this, but on a serious, I think I'm thankful for so many things I have. Of course, in my life, I feel blessed that I have what I have today, and I think I love to take pride in my own culture. And although I have lived in Europe and now in America for the last 10 years, I'm very proud of my roots, my cultural values. I keep them very intact to myself. And sometimes people come here and they pretend to be something they're not. I never tried that, so I know who I am, what my values are. But I love my family, very proud of that, and and I am very proud of making quality connections and keeping in them. So if I don't like something, I change it. And whoever I maintain a relationship with, I'm very proud of my association with all those people, whether that is at a business or whether that is on personal level, and whether that is on social level as well. If I don't like anybody, I won't meet. So whoever I talk to, I absolutely love them, and I think I give them all the importance. So that.
Right. I mean, this is very impressive. Mashallah. Book reading in this digital world is less common, whereas this habit strengthens the mind. What last book you have ever read?
You know, I don't read books anymore. I listen to them. So I mean, because we drive in America so much, so instead of listening to music, I listen to books. So I think Tony Robbins is one of the most inspirational author of our times. I have read many of his books. I think the last one, if I remember correctly, was I think The Awakening the Giant, something within, and that I read during the pandemic. It was fantastic. I think it was such a big eye opener for me as well. And I think whoever is listening to, I think they must listen. They must try to at least read what it says on a high level. I think he talks about, for example, setting a certain vision in your life and have a ability and strong belief to achieve those. So instead of like if you are somebody who's just going with the flow, going to UMT and doing a bachelor's of computer sciences and with absolutely no idea what he wants to do in life, then you will become somebody just like many ordinary people. So I think you need to have a vision, whatever you are trying to do in your life, why you are doing that. So I think that's exactly what he talks about, and I strongly recommend reading, listening, or at least trying to learn from people like him. There's so many great authors.
You are alumni of UMT, Queen Mary University of London, and Cornell University. How these institutions help you in your personal and professional growth, and what was common in all three universities?
So, great question. I think I live in California, and we are a hub of we have one of the biggest companies here in California, starting from Google, Apple, Facebook, and now Amazon is not very far from here as well. There's a big trend here going on these days that all these big companies, they are basically removing the requirement of having a 4 years or 3 years bachelor's degree. So they're basically going away from this, right? So they are saying, as long as you have a right skill set and attitude, we will hire you. So there's a huge transformation here. But again, that is one extreme. What I would say is, I am blessed that I had the opportunity to study at UMT, and it was wonderful institute. I wish I had more opportunity to use all the resources which UMT had at that time, which of course I did not. And then I think all these institutes paid some kind of contribution towards my success, and of course in my personal development as well. So I think whoever is going to all these institutes, I've been to I think now 4 institutes, and I may go to 5 more. But one thing I will tell you to all, going to any institute is absolutely not a guarantee for any success. And where I did my MBA from, this is one of the top 10 universities in the US, but that doesn't really mean anything. And so it doesn't really matter if you're going to UMT or FAST or LUMS or whoever. It is all within you, how you use those resources and become what you want to be. So schools or universities like UMT or Queen Mary, where I went to, they can only play so much part in your development. You need to have a right attitude, right goals, and right vision. Otherwise, I mean, look, I mean, there are hundreds and hundreds of people graduate from these schools every day, and most of them, you know, don't go very far. And what they do end up, they start blaming UMT or Queen Mary or Cornell. They say, hey, these institutes are bad, but absolutely not. I don't think so. I think these all institutes, they have a wonderful, wonderful vision. They all want to help people. I mean, it is very evident you are trying your best for the sake of your students. So I think so. I think it's all up to students how they use these resources. So.
What advice would you give for the students who are pursuing their career in artificial intelligence?
Yeah, I think before artificial intelligence, I think there's a need for basic intelligence. I would say, I think, and that is never be shy away from getting advice from somebody. That's number one thing. And secondly, it doesn't really matter what you are studying at UMT, whether you're doing like a Bachelor of Computer Sciences or BBA or whatever that is. Try to find why you are doing that, right? I mean, if you're just going there to do a Bachelor of Computer Science because your parents want you to do, I mean, then of course you will end up doing stuff which of course you won't be happy with for the rest of your life. So whatever you want to do or whatever you're trying to do in your professional life, find a reason why you are doing this. This is very, very, very important, right? And the best way to achieve that is associate an outcome with the result, right? Let's say, for example, I'll give you a dumb example. Maybe some people will like it. Like, for example, you can say, right, I'm doing a Bachelor of Computer Science, and if I become really, really good in C++ programming, I will find a beautiful wife, right? Because girls like guys who do good programming. So, so you know, when you have these kind of motivations or whatever that is, that's a different example, but you need to find like why you are doing this, right? So when you do that, then everything becomes a part of your success or part of your journey. So don't do, hey, I'm just doing 4 years MBA or 2 years bachelor's degree. That won't help you at all. Find a pure, genuine reason within why you are doing this and what you want to get out of that. And that's the only way you will be able to find any fulfillment in your career.
Any suggestion for Alumni Office, and how can we improve this networking?
Great question. I think, as I said, like I'm part of 3-4 different alumni associations. Luckily, I have been part of all. I think what I suggest, a couple of things, having a more frequent meet and greet, invite industry people more. And when I was at UMT, I'll give you my example, like when we were at UMT, and people who are potentially, they may listen to this or not, who graduated with me, there was a misconception in our batch at that time that once we finish our bachelor's of computer science, whatever that was, a degree, a sky is going to fall and none of us will find a job, because what UMT is teaching us has absolutely no value. That was a common knowledge at that time, and which absolutely is not true. You know, UMT had wonderful, wonderful teachers back when I was there. Some of them are very, very knowledgeable. And when you are a student in that age, 18, 19, 20, 21, you don't really know, what is out there. So you need people from industry who could come and give them a full, broad, perspective, like what skills they need to work on, how they can train themselves, and how can they be successful. So I would strongly believe connect them more with industry people, show them what life looks like after they graduate, and what they must do. They should always open their windows and see what is world like. Don't become 4 out of 4 GPA. That has absolutely, like, I hire people all the time and we never look at the GPA. When I gave my interview, nobody asked me for what my GPA was. If they asked me for my GPA, I would have never got my job, which I got. So GPA has absolutely nothing to do with your success. They always try to improve your social skills, try to find good mentors and try to use resources which are in your hand, and there could be any, such as your alumni office and all. And I suggest my fellow people who are in the industry, and maybe they're more successful in their industry than me, and whoever, come and talk to you, right, and share your stories with the students. I think this will help them. That's why I'm here. So,
Thank you so much for joining us. Bye.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye.